Greetings, folks. Lauren Montecon from Montecon Studio. Today I'm going to share with you all an idea generating exercise that I've actually been using for quite a few decades. It's a way to kind of mine your soul, if you will. Imagery, ideas that might be brewing below the surface. It's a great way, let's say, if you are working the same way over and over and you're feeling stuck and you're not quite sure how to come up with new imagery. This is an excellent, very simple way to enter into a prompt of seeing what might be brewing just below the surface. It can be used with any medium. For today, I am going to be using, I had used pastel and I'm going to be using acrylic paints. I just picked out a few to choose from. And how I usually begin, especially in workshop mode, is I will give a series of words and have people write the first word that comes to mind. Let's say I say the word magic, and the first word that comes to my mind is shaman. And I go on and on like that. And then I have people underline, let's say 10 words or 12 words that strike out at them. But if you're on your own, another way you can do this is one, you can listen to one of my meditations as a prompt. And when you're done, to do some random writing. And what I mean by random writing is you start writing kind of from a visceral place or the feeling of things that struck you during the meditation. And if you're not sure what to write, you could say, I am not sure what to write. Why am I even doing this exercise? Blah, blah, blah. And I have you do that for about 6 minutes. And when you're done, let's say you do the meditation, you do some random writing, or you just do random writing. Then I have you underline 10 or 12 words that come out at you. Here's a list of words that I did. There's 12 words right there. Is it backwards? That's okay. And then I make with a larger piece of paper, you can do it on canvas, you can do it on whatever you want, but I do recommend you do it at a large enough size that you are not working really, really small. And I have you make, let's say for this purpose, 12 boxes. When I did 12 boxes here, 12 boxes as a grid, or as I move on to the exercise, you can see the ink here. Just 12 sections. It doesn't have to be grid format. It could actually be circles, just 12 areas. Then what happens is, with this one happens to be pastel, just good old pastel that I didn't really fixate. So when I start painting on it, it will mix areas up. But what I mean by mix areas up is it will become either muddy, or I'll move some of that red around that's right there into the painting itself. But I'm getting ahead of myself, so let me backtrack. I ask people to either get some pens or pastels or charcoal, but not paint at first. Anything that is like an ink pen or even a watercolor pen, all that works, but not paint yet. And then let me use this as an example here for you all. And then I say, you might put a timer on for this because it's about moving quickly to see what ideas come. I might say the word, as I might say to you, look down and pick one word that you have made a list from or underlined. So there's vessel, vessel. There's person, person. You go to the box or the area, and you could time yourself, let's say, for 10 seconds. And I say, or you might say to yourself, switch. Go to another area. This one was chairs. This one was home. Another great thing to do if you really want to kind of mix up your perception is to change hands. Left hand, right hand, non-dominant hand, dominant hand. So let's say you have something like the word fleeting. There's my fleeting. So representational can be representational, or you could do it abstract. Let's say you have the word nature. You could just, do I have nature in here? No. Yeah, I do. I can do, it looks like I did a tree, but you could just do a green box or something abstract. So it's a great way to kind of bounce around between working abstractly and working representationally. So when I'm done with this, which that exercise I am, what I then do is you can either fixate it, you can use water in a spray bottle, but you know, water is maybe gonna move it around a little bit. And if you're not wanting that, then I suggest using like a fixative. Pastel fixative would work. This one just happens to be for drawings. You could do that. Do it outside. It's pretty stinky. And after you fixate it or not fixate it, which I didn't do, I start with just white paint. And this isn't a linear process. This is really about getting you into a visceral feeling experience of what works and doesn't work in your drawing. And when I say work, I really mean what imagery are you attached to, or what's really working for you? And what can you just sort of maybe get rid of? There's two ways to approach this. One way is just creating an underpainting and then doing a painting on top, maybe with one of your favorite images. My particular favorite image happens to be the chairs, just the line, just for the simple reason of mark making and line drawing. And it's not something that's really in my repertoire. And that's another thing. Maybe you've done something you don't usually do, and that's the purpose of this, that it might find its way into your library of mark making. The other thing that you can do is just work what you have and integrate it somehow into one painting. I'm gonna do a demo and try to do both. Doesn't necessarily mean it's gonna work, but here we go. So starting only with white, I'm gonna use water, a brush, and my acrylic white paint. Whew, okay. Notice how that's becoming pink because I did not fixate it. So I'm gonna wipe it in there, and I'm gonna use a rag. I'm gonna go back and get some more white. Now I gotta put my full attention into this. Some people just end up, it's interesting. As painters, especially in workshops, I will hear people say, oh, I do not like what I did, so I am gonna start over and just paint the whole thing white. Well, why? Especially if you're an abstract painter. Keeping some of the information that you've already done can be quite interesting as you're layering, as you're building your history, I'm about to cover the whole thing, but what I do want to do is I want to remember, and I'm not covering the whole thing, I say that, but I'm about to cover a lot of it. All right. I got to stand up now. I'm going to use a smaller brush, and I'm just going to kind of repeat the pattern of one of these chairs before it goes away. Now, you want to bring something back. If you're working in acrylic, now notice now I'm just kind of creating a veil effect. Is it integrated? It doesn't really feel like it's integrated, but let me try a few more things. Okay, my paper's loose. That's another thing. If you're thinking, I'm going to make a real finished painting, think about the quality of the paper you're using. See, I like that some of these numbers are coming through. I still like that chair. And you know, it might not be that it was painted. It might be the quality of it because it's in pencil. You got to think of the materials that you're using as well. So, work with what you got, and I don't have a pencil here in front of me. I'm gonna go get one. Hello, demo. Demo gone awry. Okay, be patient with me, you all. I will be right back. I'm looking for a pencil. And of course I'm not finding one. There we go. Okay. More white paint. Pencil. Another thing you can do is repeat repetitive shapes. See, as I'm working, I'm like, I want to kind of keep that veil effect of those numbers. And I'm still not getting rid of those chairs because another thing is I'll do that. Now I can just keep going and going and going. And notice how when I said earlier, I'm just going to cover the whole thing up. Well, I still haven't covered the whole thing up. There's all this information underneath. But an underpainting. You can think of it as creating an underpainting. Okay. Whitewashing. Evening it out once again. Bring back those numbers because that's working for me. I don't know why. I don't need to know why yet. The figure is not integrated for me. Tree gone. Don't mind this blue. Okay, bring in another color. Nope. Some of you might go, oh my God, it looks like she's making a mess. This is what I often say, muck about till something shows up. So here's, as I am working, here's something that is going on in my consciousness, is there was these marks that I made right up here in the corner. But see, once again, the material that I'm using is not quite what I'm looking for. But I'm gonna go with it. And when you're integrating, I'm noticing this is creating a box, which isn't really what I wanted. I just wanted to be able to kind of see those numbers underneath like a veil. Did it again. What if I carry on? Now this is about creating numbers, which, what was my original word that got me there? It was, vessel, person, green, nature, chairs, home, fleeting wind, dogs, mountains. I think it was frustration. I think it was the linear aspect of frustration. 18. Number 9. What do numbers mean for you? You know, this is how I'm going to leave it for right now. I think you're getting the gist of it. Sometimes doing demos, they're not always completely resolved because I don't want you to have to sit here with me as I'm idea generating for hours, as I might take away and add and take away and add. Look what I'm doing. I just realized I'm creating those shapes of how I began, not the boxes, but areas, 12 areas. That's interesting. I did not do that on purpose. That just sort of happened. Maybe that's what it wants to be, which is a little odd. Then it looks like the tree came back over here, but more abstractly. Okay, I'm laughing at myself. I only gave myself 3 colors here to work with, so I've got this limited demoing. That's it for now. Enjoy.